theyeshiva.net.
Maor Einayim, Parshas Metzora. The Maor Einayim is a sefer written by Rabbi Nachum Chernobyler. Rabbi Menachem Nachum of Chernobyl. His last name was Twersky. He was a Talmud of the Baal Shem Tov and then of the Maggid of Mezrich. He was born Tov Tzadik, 1730, and passed away Yud Aleph Cheshvan, Tov Kuf Nun Ches, 1797, Tov Kuf Nun Ches. He was considered one of the oldest Talmidim of the Maggid of Mezrich, and his Torah is in the Sefer Maor Einayim. Many of the Twerskis today, including the Hasidic dynasties of Twerskis, not all, but most of them are descendants of Reb Nachum Chernobyler, who was the father of the Chernobyler Maggid, who was Reb Motler Chernobyler, Reb Mordechai Chernobyler. He was the son of Reb Nachum Chernobyler, who was the Talmud of the Mezrich Maggid. He has a piece here on these Parshas, Tazria, Metzora. And it's a very, very deep piece. It's a heavy piece. The Maor Einayim is also, it's brief. It's very, very profound. I'll read it. I'll try to explain it. I don't know if I can't tell you I understand it fully, but at least we'll get a certain ideas. So Gedaisos bleiben for the Maor Einayim. Certain ideas we'll certainly get out of it, but in order to appreciate it, I copied here a shtickle Gemara, which is not there, but will just allow us to appreciate the Maor Einayim more. So Gemara Erken Daf Tesvav. That's the sugya that deals with leprosy, tzaras, and gossip. It's a whole amud about it, but I took a few lines. Almost a whole amud. Amar Rabbi Yochanan Moshe Rabbi Yossi ben Zimra. Kol hamasaper lashon hara kilu kafar beikar. A person who speaks gossip, slander, lashon hara, evil talk, it's like he denies Hashem. Shenemar, he brings a pasuk in Tehillim Yud Beis, Asher amru l'shaynenu nagbir svaseinu itanu mi adon lanu. They say to their tongues, they say to their lishaynenu, to their tongues, to their languages, nagbir svaseinu, let's strengthen our lips, itanu, for ourselves. Mi adon lanu, who is a master to us? So the pasuk Tehillim is associating evil, uncontrolled speech with Mi adon lanu, because we don't have a master, with denying Hashem. Amar Rabbi Yossi ben Zimra, kol hamasaper lashon hara negayim bayim alav. Leprosy was a symptom of lashon hara. Zois tia teiros hametzora, zois tia teirasu shall moitzi shemra. Metzora, the Gemara says, is a combination of the words moitzi ra, somebody who utters, moitzi shemra, somebody who slanders and gossips about people. Kol hamasaper lashon hara, says the Gemara, Amar HaKadosh Baruch Ein anivu yichel madar ba'il. Somebody who speaks lashon hara, Hashem says we can't live together in the same universe. Tana deber Rabbi Shmuel, kol hamasaper lashon hara, magdil avonis keneged shalosh averos avodos kechavim gilerayis ruchas dam. Rabbi Shmuel says somebody who speaks lashon hara, the sins are as great as adultery, idolatry, and murder. These are the Gemaras. Now, when you look at it at the surface, it's hard to understand. Why did the Chazal see lashon hara in such dramatic terms? Literally, we understand lashon hara as being terrible because it harms other people. It harms other people. It could be harmful. Yeah. But then, if that's the issue, so why is your koifer beikar? Hashem says, I can't live with you in the same world. Why is it gilui arayis, riches damim, avodah zarah, etc.? All these. What's the connection to leprosy, negoyim? And you see two whole parshas, Tazria, Metzora, dedicated to this, right? Hilchos Shabbos is all in one pasuk or two pasukim. And the law, and that happens every week. And the laws of tzaras is detailed, nuanced, with such details, the symptoms and what it looks like, and what color and what happens, and every type, and the shchin, and the mikveh, and the beard, and the hair, and this seir tzahiv, and all the symptoms, nigei batim, nigei begadim. Apparently, it's a very, very central idea. So says the Maor Einayim. The Gemara says, Moitzi ra. Metzora is Moitzi ra. Shabavoin lashon hara negayim bayin. It's because of lashon hara, evil speech, negative speech, that caused negayim. Avala inyan, the explanation is the ksiv, the pasuk says in Bereshis bara lekimas hashemayim v'saretz. V'darshu razal, b'shvil ha'torah, b'shvil Yisrael. Rashi brings from the Medrash, Rashi says the word Bereshis is strange. Why? Because Bereshis, it should have said Berishoina. In the beginning, bara lekimas hashemayim v'saretz. Bereshis bara l'kim l'shamayim v'asaretz is like saying in English, in the beginning of God creating heaven and earth, and then what's the end of the sentence? So Rashi says maybe it goes to Pasuk Beis. The word Bereshis is a complicated word. Doesn't really fit in grammatically. So Rashi says, Eina mikra zeh oimer dar ela, Eina mikra zeh oimer ela dar sheni. The Pasuk asks you to explain it. Bereshis is Beis Reshis. There are two things in Tanakh called Reshis. The beginning. Torah is called Reshis, and Yisrael are called Reshis. Hashem Kanani Reshis Darka, Yisrael Kodesh Yisrael Hashem Reshis Tfuasai. We're called Reshis. Bereshis is Beis Reshis. Because of two beginnings, Hashem created heaven and earth. Torah and Yisrael. Says in Einayim Nimtza Yisrael Heim Davar Chashuv Ma'od Lifnei Hashem Yisbarach. Shebishvilam Bara Kol Ha'olam is Kol Habruya. This means that when you're looking at a Jew, you have to understand the greatness, because for this person and for these people, Hashem created all the olamas, all the worlds. Because Bereshis includes all the worlds, all the creations were created for the Jew. V'Hashem Yisbarach mekabel tainug mikol echad mi Yisrael, afilu mirasha gadol. Hashem receives tremendous pleasure, ecstasy from every single Jew, even a Rasha Gadol. Even a Jew who's a Rasha Gadol, meaning he's completely not living up to his job as a Jew, living up to his mission. He's a Rasha, and he's a Rasha Gadol, not Stam a Rasha, a great one. Nonetheless, it doesn't take away from the fact that Hashem looks at him, sees him, and experiences tremendous tainuk from him. Why? His existence, his being. Think of it in terms of a child. A child may cause a lot of aggravation to a parent, may cause a lot of pain to a parent. But if the parent is healthy and in touch with their emotions, the reason I am so pained is because there's a tremendous love. If there wouldn't be tremendous love, why are you so pained? So we usually don't look at that. We see the pain. You're causing me so many headaches. You're causing me so much heartache. But the truth is, behind all of that, there's tremendous pain because you want to be close to this person. You feel so close to this person. That's why there's pain. So behind the pain, behind the anger, I should say, there's hurt. Behind the hurt, there's pain. And behind the pain, there's so much closeness. There's really so much closeness. And when you could see that in yourself, so then even in the pain, you could still feel the closeness, because you identify the pain as coming from closeness. And that's what every father has to know. You have to be able to feel that close. If you wouldn't feel that closeness, you wouldn't have pain. It's just we usually repress that because the anger takes over. You destroy my life. Akert, your neighbor's child becomes the most beloved child in the world. You want to swap. And your child becomes his greatest Russia in the world. But really, all your anger is coming from pain. And your pain is coming from a very, very deep love. And when you know that, then you will respond to your anger and your pain in a much better way than if you don't know that. Because if you don't know this, then how are you going to respond to your pain and anger? You'll alienate your child even more. You're like, get out of my life, get out of my house, you sick person. If you can go back to yourself and identify what's really happening, then you'll make sure that what you say at this moment and what you do at this moment will ultimately bring this child closer. So we have it, the Maor Einayim says that even a Rasha Gadol, Hashem has tainuk from him. Tainuk from him. This is the Maor Einayim. So you have a Jew, l'chayri is a big Rasha. You would think Hashem would say, out! He says he has tremendous pleasure from him. He has tremendous tainuk. He's in love with him. I love this guy. I look at him and I have tremendous tainuk. You know, you look at your baby, right? A terrorist. He destroys the whole house. Yeah. Every book, the ice cream is everywhere. But when he's 3 years old, 4 years old, you look at him and I love you. He just destroyed the whole house. You pick him up. Problem is when he's 14 years old, we forget how to say that. When he's 14 years old, suddenly I hate you. He's really still 3. Yeah. So this doesn't mean you're happy that he destroyed the house. It just means You love him, you're crazy about him, and you have tremendous time. You look at those cheeks, and you want to eat them up. I just poured the orange juice on the new carpet. That caused, fine, you're upset, but doesn't take away from the tainug that you have. The problem is when they grow older, we forget that part of it, because their cheeks are not as cute. And we're more stressed out. But it's really the same nekuda. Yeah. And he continues, that's what the Gemara says, Kepela charimin reikosech, afilu reikonim shabach, malayim mitzvahs kirimin. The Gemara says in Chagigah, it says in Shehashirim, the temples, the Kepela charimin, your temples look like a pomegranate. So the Medrash, the Gemara teaches, afilu reikonim, reikosech is, not only your temples, your reikim, your empty ones. The pusta kalim, the empty ones, are malayim mitzvahs karimin, are filled with goodness and filled with mitzvahs like a pomegranate. So he says, even a reikon, a Rosh Gadol, is filled with good stuff, and Hashem can't help but have tremendous pleasure. Her, when a Jew speaks negatively about a Jew, even if you're saying truth, it's not your Monsey Shemra, you're slandering him. No, that's not Lashon Hara. Lashon Hara means saying the truth. Who mevatel tainug haboiri is baruch kavayachal umevi by midas atzvos kavayachal. He destroys kavayachal Hashem's pleasure, and he puts kavayachal Hashem into a state of depression, atzvos, sadness. Ka'amr vayisatzev el liboy. When Hashem saw what's going on, he felt a sense of atzvos. B'meila umahapich me oineg lenega. L'chein schar mida keneged mida negoyim boim elav. Took Hashem's oineg, Hashem's greatest pleasure, that he loves every Jew and is crazy about every Jew, and you took his oineg and you turned it into Hashem's nega. You turn Hashem kevayachal into a menug, and now he feels sick and exhausted and depressed and quarantined and alone, like a leper who feels disconfigurated. A person looks at themselves, they feel that, I'm not alive. Metzora chashav kameis. That's what you did, kevayachal to Hashem. You took away from him his greatest pleasure, his geschmack of life. What's his geschmack of life? Ayid, a child. You took it away from him. You told him how horrible this person is, because he's listening to the Lashon Hara. B'meila, that's what a person is, the reflection of Hashem, like we just learned from the Sfas Emes. So b'meila, it happens to the person also. His oinig becomes nega. Oinig and nega are the same words. The question is where the ayin is. It says in Sefer Yetzirah, Ein b'toiva l'mayla me oinig, ve'ein b'ra l'mayla me nega. It's the same thing. The only difference is where the ayin is. What do we say in the Parsha? Lo yhofach ha-negas einoi, where the ayin is. Chidush Yorim says it's all about where the ayin is, where your eyes are, where your perspective is. I could look at a person and say, you bring out the beauty of a person. And then Hashem kvels, you just gave him oinek. So what happens? You're also in a state of oinek. And then you start speaking bad, and God goes from oinek into nega. The ayin changed. And what happens? The person himself also becomes a menug. It's a result. Hashem is in a state of leprosy. I'm also in a state of leprosy. But Salmeinu Kidmaseinu, Hashem Tzilcha. The Baditchev says God is your shadow. What's that? God is your shadow, Hashem Tzilcha. Wherever you move, the shadow moves. The person goes into that state. Kivayachal, it's affected by Hashem. Now it's the opposite. He becomes the shadow of that. So that's what Lashon Hara is. Lashon Hara is, you can imagine it in your own life. What's one of the greatest pleasurable things a parent has? A stranger calls you up out of the blue on the phone, right? And says, I saw your daughter on Shabbos. I saw your son. I want to tell you something. Right? And you sit on the couch and your heart swells with tainuk. And then you get another call and it says, such a lowlife. Huh? Where did you raise these kids? Azar Rosha Merusha. Right? And what happens? Your day is ruined, your week is ruined, your month is... So the Einayim says, why does it happen to parents? Because it happens to Hashem. You speak bad about a Jew, doesn't that, it could be it's a lav dafka, the guy is lying. If he's lying, obviously it's worse. But even if he's saying the truth, it destroys you. Not because he told you something new. Usually what's going on with your son and daughter, you know as well as the principal. If you're a normal parent, you know as well as the stranger.
If you don't make up of that truth, so you still have time. Huh?
No.
Because you know them. You know that the Rusha Perusha is a beautiful person.
That's also true. Yeah, that's even deeper true. For Amru Razal, now we'll understand the Gemara. It says, G'doyle Lashon Hara keneged avodah zara gilui arayos u'shfichus damim. Lashon Hara is like the three cardinal sins. V'tzarich l'daktik, mayin avodah zara Lashon Hara. What in the world is the connection from avodah zara to Lashon Hara? You could say it's not nice. Why am I worshiping idolatry? Why am I denying God? I'm not doing avodah zara. I'm not kaifer baker. So we already understand one nekuda of this, which he's going to elaborate upon and go one step deeper. That is, there's no sin that's kivayachal a shtech to Hashem like Lashon Hara. A person can have a dispute with you in business. You have an employee, you ask him to do something, he does the opposite. You ask the contractor to put the wires there, and he puts the wires there. It happens ma'aseh b'chol yom. Hashem asks you to do this, you do the exact opposite. But when somebody comes and speaks Lashon Hara, what are they doing? He says they're taking Hashem's oineg and turning it into nega. That's a whole different experience. But now he goes a step deeper. Ha'inyan, the pasuk says in Tehillim, B'dvar Hashem shamayim nasu. Shekol oilam ez v'chol habruyim nivru b'dibur b'chav beis eisis ha'torah. The whole world, everything was created b'dvar Hashem. What's dvar Hashem? The 22 letters of Torah, Aleph through Taf. Those are the conduits, the channels of energy that create the world. Shehu nikra malchus shamayim. Oisius, the Oisius are called malchus shamayim. Why? We often learn that Malchus is Oisius. When somebody doesn't speak, nobody knows what you want. When you speak, people know what you want. It's a very important idea. Sometimes we expect people to know what we want, what we feel, what we're upset at. How is your wife supposed to guess? How is your child supposed to guess? Communication. That's what Malchus Shamayim is. You don't know what the Melech wants. B'dvar Hashem Shamayim Nasu, where does the Malchus come out? The pasuk says, B'dvar Melech Shilton, he rules through the word. The word, it's through Dibuk. Shemedaber is Galarit. So the Malchus could come out, the creation could come out through Dibur, and the continuous creation, which is the ultimate Malchus. Therefore, V'hu Malchus Shamayim u'Malchusoi ba'koil mashallah. And this Dibur is in everything. Because without the Dvar Hashem, nothing would exist. The true existence, the chemistry of everything is the DNA. The DNA is the Dvar Hashem. It's interesting, DNA today is considered letters, right? Today we look at creation and we understand it. We look at every organism and we understand that its ultimate underlying code is code. We compare it to computer code. It's not mamish letters, but that's the metaphor that's given. And thousands of years ago, when Chazal wanted to describe the world, they said, Ba'asara ma'mara is nivra ha'olam. It's basically, it's a computer program. It's a code. Ba'asara ma'mara is nivra. How do you have from 10 words the whole world? And the pshat is it's using the same oisius, the same 22 oisius, as he explains in Shari Yichud Ve'emunah, just in different configurations and so forth. So that's Malchus Shamayim. Ve'isa b'Sefer Yetzirah, kav'on b'peh. Sefer Yetzirah, which is considered the most ancient work of Kabbalah, says Hashem took the 22 letters and he established them in one place, in the mouth. Shashem Yisbarach Kavach Chav Beis Oisius Olam Adibur Malchus Shamayim Midis Adnus Sfosai Tiftach Kava B'Peshel Adam. Not pshat, he gave us an ability to speak. He took the 22 letters, the code of creation, and he gave it a place. He put it somewhere. He put it in the mouth of a person. The mouth of a person, that's the place called Malchus Shamayim. Midah of Adnus, of rulership. That's why we say before we daven, Adna, Sfosai Tiftach, open up my lips. That's the place where his Malchus comes out, as we said, through communication. You express yourself. And what is creation? Creation is God expressing his energy in a revealed way. When I speak, it brings out what I want. The whole world was there before, but there was no way that it had a tangible existence. Dibur is its expression. V'hinei, Hashem Yisbarach eine medaber lashon hara al Yisrael, k'may sha'av eine medaber al b'nai. Hashem never ever speaks lashon hara about a Jew, just like a father will never speak about a child. You never heard at any conversation in the world, even the juiciest conversations, right? In the mikveh, at a table, simcha, people are outside with a cigarette, they're talking about this one, that one. The father comes in, or the mother says, I have a juicy story about you. My son is azam mamze, azak ganev, azak ritzeach. Am I going to tell you a juicy story? Unless he's a peda adam, he's a shaitim, a shuta, he's a chayirah. But even a chayirah wouldn't do it. Chayas take care of their children. But it's not what a father does. You don't sit and gossip about your child. Why? Because Hashem never does this about a Jew. It's not shaykh. How could you? How could you start gossiping about your kid? You'll do everything for your child. So,
that a parent does not believe to make a balance.
Exactly, yeah, exactly. In b'machteres yimotzei haganev, right? Zorcha lav hashemesh, yeah? Yeah, in b'machteres yimotzei haganev, right? Nimtza, k'sha'adam medaber lashon hara, mare ba'atzmoi, sho makchi shediburoi hu malchus shamayim, midis adna, v'lechein hu ka'oved avodah zarah. When I use my speech, and what am I doing with my speech? I'm speaking lashon hara. Really, what is my speech? Malchus b'kol mashallah. A person's speech, kavayachal, is a reflection of Hashem's speech. That's what our speech is. The chavbeis oises that we utter through our vocal cords, in any language it is, whether it's in Hebrew or any other language, which is based, the vocal cords have the ability to make all those pronouncing sounds. That is really divine speech. It's divine speech that uses as its vehicle human speech. That's why we say, Hashem sfosai tiftach. You're basically opening my lips. That's what it is. God's malchus comes out through our dibur. When I speak, who's speaking? It's really the divine speaking through me. That's what it is. Malchusay bakol mashallah. It's midas adnos. That's malchus shamayim. I'm opening my mouth to speak, and what do I use these words? I say, let me tell you a story about this and this Jew. Hashem would never, ever in a billion years do that. Now I do that. What happens? I'm showing that I'm completely alienated from the truth that my dibur is really malchus shamayim. It's midas adna. That's the avodah zarah here. V'zel maimer David hamelech alav hashalom. That's what David says. That's what the Gemara brings in Erkin. Asher amru lilishaynenu nagbir. Ritzoynoi loymar. Sha'omrim harishayim nagbir lishaynenu ledaber. Ki svaseinu itanu mi odoin lanu. Ritzoynoi loymar she makchishim sha'adnu su befihem. Avol tzarech lahamen shediburu hamalchus shamayim. They tell themselves, lishaynenu nagbir. Let's allow our tongues, our languages to become powerful. Because svaseinu itanu, it's our own lips. Mi odoin lanu. What does God have to do with our lips? They're completely not aware of the fact that Hashem's reality is all in bifiyem. When I open up my mouth, what's happening? It's like the divine opening his mouth through me. Adne sfasai tiftach. Harchiv picha va'amaleyu. In other words, when you open your mouth, you could do one of two things. Create worlds or destroy worlds. That's it. That's what you do when you open your mouth. As we say, either you're part of the solution or you're part of the problem. You're opening your mouth, you're either creating souls or destroying souls. One of the two. Either you bring chiyas to the world or you take away chayas from the world. Either you bring life to people or you take away life to people. I open my mouth, I start speaking Lashon Hara. What happens? I took God's, so to speak, mouth, his energy, and what do I do with it? I start bad-mouthing or gossiping about a Jew. He says that's the greatest embodiment of avodah zarah. Ki svaseinu itonu miyad v'zel ma'imar. This is pshat in the Gemara Moed Katan. The Peled Gemara Moed Katan daf Tazayin. The Gemara quotes a pasuk in Shmuel Beis Chav Gimel. David HaMelech says that Hashem told him that he rules over the person, and Tzaddik Moshel B'yiras Elikim. So the Gemara teaches David HaMelech said that Hashem told him, I rule over people, and who rules over me? A tzaddik. Me, Moshel, be tzaddik. That's what the Gemara says. Hashem says, I rule over everybody, but I also have a boss. Who rules over me? A tzaddik. That's what the Gemara says in Maseches Moed Katan daf Tazayin, that Hashem makes a gzeir and a tzaddik is mevatel it. In other words, a tzaddik rules over me. So the Einayim says, what does this mean? He says, tzaddik, ritzoyne loymer shat tzaddik moishel imi, im hadibur shali, sho malchus shamayim ha-moishlim b'chal olam v'chal habruyim. Umi moishel be means, who's moishel not on me, with me. He's moishel with, what's pshat a real tzaddik? A tzaddik is somebody who understands that his words are basically always attuned to the divine. So when he opens his mouth, it's Malchus Shamayim opening its mouth. It's the Dibur of Hashem, and that rules over all the world. So when he opens his mouth, it affects, it's like electricity that affects all the worlds. Tzaddik Moshel be. The Tzaddik is Moshel be through me. Because the Chavbeis Oisius are really the expression of Malchus Shamayim, which is the source of the energy of the whole world. So the tzaddik, whose words are always attuned with the divine, when he opens his mouth, the world is affected. The whole world is affected. So therefore, what's the Avodah Zarah here? The Avodah Zarah here is, on one level, on the simpler level, not so simple, but on one level, the person opens his mouth and really, so to speak, stabs Hashem by stabbing his children. Even deeper, he opens his mouth and he uses the words for Lashon Hara. So what happens now? He's taking the very words that are divine and completely detaching them. Mi Adar and Lono, this has nothing to do with Adnus, and I'm just speaking on my own. So now I could speak about this person, speak about this person. But if a person would realize what his words are, he wasn't shaykh to this. Imagine I invite you to my Shabbos table. I give you food. You're sitting at my table. I give you a bed. You're enjoying my hospitality. At the table, you say, Rabbi Jacobson, I want to tell you a story. And you start telling me horrible things about my children, about my wife, about my father, about my mother, about my brothers, about my sisters. I say, you ready for the next course? Yeah, but I have another story for you. And now you go to the next child. Yeah? It's the most disgusting thing in the world. Get out of my house. Speak about it over there. I'm taking my mouth. What's my mouth? It's not only God inviting me. It's His energy. And it's actually His words. What am I doing? I say, I have something to say now. What do I have to say? I'm opening my mouth. What do I have to say? How horrible a father you are. Look at your children. He says, that's Avodah Zarah. How does one reach this state? When a person connects his words always to the letters of Torah which are divine, so his own dibur could become a reflection of Hashem's dibur. In Erkin Daf Tesvav, there's a machlokes Chad Amar. One of the Amirayim says Siper. If somebby said Lashon Hara, Ein Lo Takana. There's nothing to do. V'Chad Amar, the other opinion is Yasek B'Torah. Shenemar, it says in Mishlei, Marpe Lashon Eitz Chaim. Marpe Lashon Eitz Chaim literally means if you have a weak tongue, meaning you're not harsh, it's a tree of life. That's how the Metzora says. But the Gemara teaches Marpe Lashon Eitz Chaim. If a person gets the lashon of Torah, it's a refuah, marpe. It's Eitz Chaim becomes a tree of life. V'hinei bevadei loy pligi. Certainly they're not arguing. What do you mean? One shitta says ein loy takana. Another shitta says there is a takana. He says shezek klal b'chol Torah elu ve'elu divrei Elokim Chaim. It's a principle in Torah. There's never a real ultimate argument. Two opinions, one yeah, one no. Both are true. You just have to realize where and when. V'hinei gam kan. If a person speaks Lashon Hara and then starts learning Torah, but it's not Lishma, Taka, there's no healing. There's two types of Torah learning. So Torah learning, I'm just learning. Then it's Taka Ein Lo Takana. That's the first opinion. The second opinion is through Torah. What type of Torah? I realize that it's God's words. I learn it lishma, meaning I want to connect with the divine energy, so my words become Torah-dika words. In other words, my dibur becomes refined and transformed. I introduce in my dibur malchus shamayim, then I can't speak Lashon Hara. It's not I don't speak Lashon Hara. I can't speak Lashon Hara. When you realize what your words are, when you're opening your mouth, it's God creating the world through you. Tzaddik moishel b'yiras Elokim. You can't, it's Eitz Chaim, your words become a tree of life. When you just realize what your mouth is and what your words are. So the next time you open your mouth to speak, realize who's speaking. Who's speaking? It's the Rebbeinu Shalom wants to speak through you. He gave you a mouth, He put in the Chavbeis Yosis, and that's why we're the only ones who speak. Why are we called Medaber? There's a lot of differences between humans and animals. We do a lot of things that animals don't do. The one distinction that we have is we're called Medaber. We also have a lot of similarities to animals, but we have a lot of unique things. We could call a person a maskil. We have seichel that they don't have. A certain level of seichel they don't have. We're called medaber. When it says in Bereshis, Vayhi Adam lenefesh chaya, what does the Targum say? Leruach memalala, a speaker. Why a speaker from all things? Memalala. A person has a lot of tremendous things. Our machshava is also different. But now we understand. The uniqueness of the person is that he's a medaber. Hashem created the world through words. We were given that gift. We perpetuate creation, or chas v'shalom, the opposite of it. So a person opens his mouth. That is Hashem's malchus. That's Hashem's dibur. Malchus peh. Hashem's fasai tiftach. What's davening? Davening is God. Open my lips and speak through me. That's what real davening is. Ufi yagit l'asech. I want my mouth to become a conduit for you. So now you're telling me it's all very nice, but L'Poel Mamish, my kid says something and I lose it, and I open my mouth and I start screaming. So there's two. So one shit that says Ein Loi Takana, you're a lost case. The second shit is you have to start learning. So Menachem Chernobyl says who's right? He says there's two types of learning. The type of learning Taka Ein Loi Takana. This guy is helpless because the more he learns, the worse he gets. And he thinks his learning is masakin it, and really it's the exact opposite because he doesn't understand what learning is. But if he understands what real Torah is, then yesh le takana, because his dibur will become a different dibur, and when he opens his mouth from now on, he'll realize vu mishteit und fa wem mishteit, wie mishteit und fa wem mishteit. Die Chassidim flaggen sagen Rosh Hashanah. Wie mishteit fa wem mishteit. When I was a kid, the Gabbai Rosh Hashanah before Tkiyas, before Mafti, it was a Polish Shiyid. He gave a clap and he said, "Mizal wissen fa wie mishteit und fa wem mishteit." That's how he was trying to get 10,000 people to be quiet, to be organized. Mizal wissen fa wie mishteit und fa wem mishteit. When you understand veret und fa wem meret, who's speaking, and before whom you're speaking, not only before, but who's speaking, then it's a different type of dibur. In other words, the reason we speak Lashon Hara is often because we don't understand, not because of anything else, because we don't understand who we are. We don't understand what our words are. When you understand your words, it's a whole different experience. And he finishes, V'zeu zois tia Torah sametzora. So the question is, why here does it say the word Torah? Zois tia Torah sametzora. You have different expressions where the Torah speaks about what to do in a certain situation, right? By Yom HaShmini, you could say, there's an introduction. Zois tia Torah sametzora. This should be the Torah of the Metzora. It seems superfluous. Zog the Maor Einayim Ritzoyne Loymar. Zois tia Torah sametzora. Ha Torah v'limud shel Monsey Rabbi Yom Ta'arasoi. Yiyeh k'dei lahalois u'lekasher es diburoi. Shehu malchus shamayim anikra zois lekasher la Torah. Va'az v'hu ve'lakoyin ritzoyne loymar al Hashem yisbarach hanikra koyin. The Rebbe say the Maor Einayim here is zois tia Torah sametzora b'yom ta'arasoi. The day that he wants to become clean, he needs Torah, like the Gemara says, Lashon, Marpe, Lashon, Eitz Chaim. He needs Torah. But what type of Torah? The Torah has to be one that elevates and connects and aligns his dibur, his words, his speech, which is Malchus Shamayim, with its source, with its real source. That's called Zois. Not to get into it by Riches, but in Kabbalah and Chassidus, Zois is femininity, which represents Malchus, represents Midas HaMalchus. So Zois tia Torah sametzora b'yom ta'arasoi. The Torah has to be connected with the Zois, with the source of words, with Malchus Shamayim. That's what he needs. L'chalas l'kasha is diburei shel Malchus Shamayim anikra Zois l'kasha la Torah. That should be connected with the Torah that he learns. And then the pasuk continues, V'huva la'koyin, will be able to be realigned with the ultimate koyin. The Gemara says, Elekechem koyin hu. Hashem is defined as the ultimate koyin. And then he'll be aligned, and that becomes the source of cleansing. The moment they become aligned, then he knows God doesn't speak Lashon Hara about Jews. You also don't speak Lashon Hara about Jews. You don't. When you're a father, you don't speak Lashon Hara about your children. When you're aligned with a father, when you're my best friend, you're not going to speak Lashon Hara about my kids. And if you do, there's a serious detachment. You can't be somebody's best friend and badmouth their kids to other people. It just doesn't work. Doesn't work. This doesn't have to do when you speak to somebody or about somebody in order to help, right? We're not talking, we all have to understand that, right? When you come to a father, you want to speak to a father to help a child, that's not called Lashon Hara. That's called love. If I'm talking to a father or a mother because a child is going through a crisis, that's not Lashon Hara. Lashon Hara is one thing. Let me tell you how bad this guy is, right? It's a good juicy. I was once giving a speech. I told a story. So somebody says, Rabbi Jacobson, without names, who was it? What's a story without name? You give a name right away. It's like a schmack. I always knew this. That's a whole different Indian. When a person is telling a story to a parent because he wants the parent to be able to help this child, if a real parent is grateful to you. A real parent is grateful to you. Thank you for sharing this. That's not the concept of Lashon Hara. A Yid comes to the Ribono Shel Olam and davens for another Yid who's having a challenge, yeah? You say, God, I need you to help this person. That's not Lashon Hara, fakert. A mother is grateful, a father is grateful for that. Lashon Hara is a different thing. Not is it's evil talk. It's speech of Ra. And this doesn't have to do if it's emes or if it's not emes. Doesn't even have to do if it's random or habitual. It's not only about damaging another person. Sometimes it doesn't damage another person. This gives a whole other dimension. The pnimi is the dimension to Lashon Hara. It's not just a social thing. It's not a nice thing. People could be damaged, right? Sometimes that's not never going to happen. But the point is the etzem dibur, what it does for the Ribono Shel Olam, he says it takes from oineg and puts him into neg. On the other way, when you bring out the milas of a person, you praise a person, you extol a person, you bring out their greatness, you speak positively to them and about them, then God's heart swells with pleasure, with tainuk. Agit Shabbos, Afreilich in Shabbos.
What about vidui, the person that meets?
No.
In a way, speaks Lashon Hara on himself.
You're right. If the vidu is in a way of Lashon Hara, you're not allowed to speak Lashon Hara about yourself either. But the vidu is not Lashon Hara. If the vidu is Lashon Hara, then you're not allowed to do it. Lashon Hara means I'm gossiping about myself. Vidu, I'm not gossiping about myself. I'm acknowledging because I want to fix. It's a whole different thing. Again, if a person comes to a parent and says, I want to share something, I saw something about your son or your daughter, and I think this is how we can help. That's not Lashon Hara. If I can't, that causes tainuk to parents. You want to be here for my child. Vidui, I'm coming to Hashem and I'm saying, not that I'm evil and I'm bad and I'm a loser and I'm a lo yutzlachnik, I'm the worst person in the world. No. I acknowledge my greatness and my purity, and that's why I'm upset about my mistakes and I want to fix them. That's not Lashon Hara. Speak Lashon Hara about yourself, you're not allowed to. You're not allowed to. You're not allowed to gossip about yourself. You're not allowed to say how bad you are. But you're not saying how bad you are, you're saying how good you want to be.
Should I tie your shoes or
Mine didn't pull any punches. He was very authentic to the honest to the core of
Yeah. No, the Einayim says.
it's kind of
Filet Rasha Gamar. I said I was once giving a shiur to a Chassidim over there who come from the Geza of the Einayim. Their Rebbe is a descendant of the Einayim, and they learn Einayim over there constantly. Yeah, and I said over something. I said of art, Hashem loves every Jew. He's tainug of every Jew, even a Jew's a Rasha Gomer. Apikursis kfira. Das ist dein Rebbe. Das ist dein Rebbe. It's dein Rebbe. You're not learning his Sfarim. You're not learning his Torah. I made this up. It just doesn't say it with a pilpul. He says it as is. It's one of the Yesodis Achsidus, one of the Yesodis of the Baal Shem Tov, to understand what a Jew is. To understand what a Jew is, fakert. It's not just Hashem also loves him. In the very pain is the love. That's why you're so pain. That's what I was explaining. It's not just he loves him also. Even the pain is an expression of the love.
You convinced them?
I showed them.
Really convinced?
I showed them. I showed them. But I said, how do you don't learn these things? What do you think he's talking about? He's talking about Rishayim somewhere in Atzilus. He's talking about a Jew down there that's a Reikon. He's an empty pustakeli. And still Hashem looks at him and he says he has tremendous tainuk from him. Tainuk means he's tremendous pleasure. I love this guy. You don't have tainuk from things you hate.
You got a seamless Gemara on the page. It was a nice cut and paste. Or
I worked hard on that. I worked hard. 5 o'clock in the morning.
no, it's a beautiful piece.
I worked hard. I had to find this Vasemas, the Einayim, and bring it together.
That's awesome. Baruch Hashem, thanks. It's a beautiful job.
I thought Erev Shabbos, Parshas Tazria, going into Metzora, it's kedai to learn these stuff. Huh? 1 second, huh?
Yeah, I was just going to ask that. So today at the beginning you said that we don't have this infirmity called saras, but it comes out, I think, from what you said, tell me if I'm wrong, that there is a level of like a soul is burdened with it, even though you don't.
Yeah, that's true.
So what would be the source for that? Because I've heard that said before, but I didn't. Someone said that once, but what would be the source?
I don't remember.
And also the second question would be, the Sefer Yisir is mentioned in the Chumash, right? So how would you date that as far as the earliest work of all?
Says it's brought from Adam, from Avram Avinu. It's brought from Avram Avinu. Some say Rabbi Akiva. It's very, very ancient. Yeah, very ancient, very ancient. Kavon bepeh, the 22. It says the 22 sources of energy Hashem put into our mouth. That's our mouth. Malchus Shamayim, Hashem Svasai Tiftach. When you open your mouth to speak, in many ways it's God speaking. It's Hashem speaking. The rest? No, since the Gemara says in Erkin Daf Tesvav that the Eitzah for Lashon Hara is Torah, at least according to one opinion, right? The Einayim explained what it means, how you have to learn. So now we have to get to Torah. Zois tia Torah Metzora. Metzora has to learn Torah.
Your son asked in one of the Shabbos Shiurim about Torah Lishma.
Very good. Very good, very good. Very good. So the two shittas in Gemara, if it's takana or no takana, in Erkin Tesvav, depends on how you learn. Person learns in one way, ain't like takana. Person learns in another way, yesh like takana. Rabbi, you understand? There's two ways of learning.
I'm not quite to Lishma yet. I'm going to still learn Shalosh Ma, but I'm going to try to get to Lishma.
Mitoich shaloi lishma ba lishma. It says the toich, the inside of shaloi lishma ba lishma.
Fix the problem with the Lishma too. If he learns to fix the Lishma.
Yeah, I think it's part of it. Yeah.
This class is brought to you by theyeshiva.net. Please help us continue the classes. Make even a small contribution at www.theyeshiva.net/donate.